Turn this safari into a green hell of horror.
Hello and welcome back to the Ask Johnny channel. Today we're heading back to Peru to delve into its mysterious past. G'day Johnny, what are we looking at today? G'day Johnny, today we're looking at the ancient Peruvian site of Ollantaytambo. Oh Jesus, it even sounds mysterious.
Now this is one of the largest Inca and pre-Inca megalithic sites in all of Peru. What you're looking at is just part of what Ollantaytambo is. It's absolutely immense.
Christ almighty, have a look at that stuff. Christ almighty.
So here you see broken remains from a megalithic structure that fell down from on top of the hill above in the center of the video, and then they're simply put into place by the archaeologists. So the original position of the blocks is up on that top of that hill. And as we look at them, it's a sense of scale, and then you see these strange, almost like as if this stone was a big chunk of butter and the surface was troweled. So that's very mysterious.
Johnny, mainstream archaeology says that the Inca did the whole bloody site, and they were the ones who constructed it all, did all the lifting and all the bloody carving and everything, but there is a different point of view on that, that's for sure.
And again, the sheer scale and spectacle of what Ollantaytambo is. Clearly one of the most impressive of all of the ancient sites in Peru and Bolivia as well. And here we're looking down at the town, and you see how high up we are. So in the background you can see more Inca construction on the side of that mountain in the background. And now we're entering the area where we're going to see some pretty profound megalithic work. Here again, one of the large terraces built by the Inca. Not a complex feat engineering-wise, but lots and lots of work. And now compare the staircase built by the Inca to this wall. It's like night and day. Whoever was responsible for this, that you see here, had to have some level of high technology.
So, Johnny, what's the theory? What are they saying happened back then? Well, I was researching this sort of bloody thing, Johnny. They reckon that the huge bloody big monolithic temples and all that were already there when the Incas and Mayans and all that, whoever came along and found them. And they, like us, I dare say even more, were absolutely flabbergasted at who the fucking hell built this thing. They must have been gods. We've got to build a temple here.
So here again, Inca construction. Ollantaytambo, like Machu Picchu, was a site found by the Inca, and so they built a massive complex around the megalithic aspect that they found. And as we walk up the Inca staircase, we're going to get a very close look at the much older megalithic construction. Again, the stone is called rhyolite. It's very hard, and you see how tightly fitting these joints are. They're quite absolutely incredible. And again, as we walk along, we see what's left of the megalithic construction. It appears that there was some kind of cataclysm in the distant past that damaged the structures. And then as we walk along, here again we see Inca repair work.
You can't just keep lifting those blocks up and down till you get them to fit right. Like, righto, Roger, bring her down. It doesn't quite fit. Lift her up again. You bloody chip the living shit out of it. You damage the joint. It's like they're bloody absolutely perfect before they put them in there. Come on, Johnny. Come on.
Many engineers flocked to Ollantaytambo to see evidence of the work that was done in these huge polygonal walls that simply looks impossible. Many are now calling them pre-cataclysmic walls that don't match any known building technique.
What are those knob things on it, Johnny? That means it must have been... that means they must have carved back the stone to leave the knobs there. Jesus Christ!
It's by far one of the best examples of the stone most likely having been softened or in some kind of cold plasma state when it was applied. The seams or joints are very strange, following very difficult curves that would have to be somehow engineered. To have this perfect of a fit, you can imagine if these two stones were already there and had been placed, and this was softened right when it was placed on top, the weight of the material would have basically squashed the material along the joints. Then when you contemplate that it's not just two joints, but the wall is produced to perfection, meeting 3 or 4 stones simultaneously, there are no known tools that can maneuver the large polygonal material. They fit together so perfectly. We see lichen growing.
We're going to be looking at, you see these incredibly carved seats on the right-hand side, which are likely megalithic in origin, and then the huge blocks of what they call the Temple of the Sun, but we have no idea what its original function was. The Inca turned it into a sun temple, but what its original function was remains a mystery. And this is very interesting because here we see an example of the ancient cutting technology of the megalithic people. It doesn't appear to be a laser or a saw. It might be a sonic vibration tool because it appears to be handheld. The line is not perfectly straight, but it's perfectly even in width. And now finally we're going to look at what's left of the Sun Temple. Conventional archaeology says that the Inca were constructing it and then suddenly decided not to complete it, but it's more likely that it was damaged by an ancient cataclysmic event that knocked off these 2 sides of it. This front wall you're looking at the right is built into the mountain, so it wasn't impacted that much by the cataclysm. But again, notice the incredible tight-fitting construction technique used. And the quarry for this rhyolite stone is across the valley on the left, on the very top of the mountain. There actually is no trail that leads to the quarry. So that's what makes Ollantaytambo one of the most spectacular sites. It's much more complicated than simply an Inca construction. And here in the background, you can notice that they put some of the megalithic blocks back into place and then filled it with relative rubble. And here as well, you see this wall section is intact. This big piece was put back into place and stabilized by the Inca. And here, the right-hand wall, again.
Now, Johnny, just imagine you're an Inca tribesman thousands of years ago. Yeah, I'm back in Peru thousands of years ago, yeah. You get summoned by the bloody king, the ruler. Yeah, summoned to him. And he says, we're going to make a bloody temple. You're going to build a temple? Yeah, then what happens? And he says, we're going to use the rock way over there on the mountain, even though the blocks that I'm going to use might weigh bloody 300 ton or some bloody thing, and we're going to cut it all over there and drag it across the swampy fucking jungle, and we're all the way over there. Well, you'd need a bloody good reason to do that, Johnny, wouldn't you? And then we're going to build the temple I want there. Wouldn't you just use the rock lying around all over the place there already? I mean, why would you bloody do that?
Yeah, I could be. Yeah, it must be. I don't know. So top of this hill over here, you'll see the quarry. The quarry is this area up here. So they shipped all this stuff down here, and there's a raging river that they have to cross and then bring it up to the top of this mountain.
And it's Granite?
Granite. Some of these are like
Granite?
70 tons. And so you saw some of the bigger pieces down lower. We'll go back
And
down
there
there as
is-
well.
Well, first you've got to cut the bloody stone over there on the cliff, Johnny, and then you've got to fucking drag it all the way with no roads or a wheel, or it's just... The bloody temple could have all been there 10,000 years before the Inca discovered it. And we modern people, Johnny, are doing much the same as the bloody Inca and the Mayans did when they found it. We went, Jesus Christ, this is bloody amazing. Let's make this, well, we won't make it into a temple, but by Jesus, we'll make it into a tourist attraction. Well, Ollantaytambo, Johnny, it's a great site, but it asks more questions than it certainly bloody answers. Yeah, some sort of a bloody, yeah. Well, what did you think of that? Yeah, those bloody great big rocks up on the mountain, hey? Join us next time here on the Ask Johnny channel when we continue our exploration of ancient Peru.